What is going on, everybody? WeedleTwineedle here, and we are back again with an Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle, and this one's going to be a PU Wi-Fi battle against Mckinley362, a person that battle off of my Discord server. Now, before we get into this Wi-Fi battle, if you guys are enjoying my daily Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle content and really want to support my channel, let me know by hitting the like button, as it keeps me inspired to make these daily uploads for you guys, and it helps out the channel a lot more than you think it does, and it's just much appreciated. Now today, Mckinley's packing a pretty threatening PU team. He has, Pyro, Rotom Fan, Lycanroc, Midday? Yeah, Gramble, Hitmonchan, and Meowstic. I'm packing a pretty threatening team myself. I have Silvally Fairy for, Musharna, and just, a lot of defensive mods on this team. Also have Alolan Raticate, because I don't think I even used that mod on Sun and Moon, so I decided to breed an Alolan Raticate, because I don't even have one, and I'm kind of surprised I don't have one. So, gonna lead off my Cordelias. My opponent quickly realizes that my team doesn't really have a fire resistance. When I put this team together, I'm like, hey, this team looks pretty solid, and then when I got into team preview, I saw that I had no switch into Pyro, and I'm just like, oh. Interesting. So Turbo actually ends up carrying Taunt, which is pretty good for him because it allows him to cancel my recovery and my Stealth Rock, so it just kind of puts me behind as he's able to hit a Fire Blast, not do all that much damage. She does really be Life Orb, which is, pretty obvious because he went for Taunt. But we're going to go for Giga Drain just to get some chip damage off, because unfortunately I don't have Rock Slide. I probably should have Rock Slide over like Toxic, but unfortunately I just think that, Toxic's pretty useful in Cordelias in case you predict switches. I would have Toxic this thing, but unfortunately he taunted me. So here I'm going to predict the Fire Blast again, bring in Mitsuki, my Electros. I know since I'm Assault Vested, I should probably tank this unless he crits me. I know he's not Choice Spec, so I can take 3. Thankfully, we are able to take the Fire Blast, and now I should be able to threaten this thing out with the Volt Switch, but he decides to stay in here, go for Fire Blast yet again, connects 3 Fire Blasts in a row, so freaking Mckinley's on point with his Fire Misses. Gonna go for Volt Switch here, and just do as much damage as I possibly can, but unfortunately, since I'm not max special attack, I don't knock him out. I gave him some Spadaf investment, now I'm regretting it, and yeah, because he lived the freaking Volt Switch. So here, I'm like, okay, he's probably gonna, sack off his Pyvor here, but he decides to bring in his Gramble here just to conserve it. But just in case my opponent really wanted to be cheeky and do that, I decided to pull a double switch because worst case scenario, he goes for Fire Blast or Hyper Voice to get and dies from Life Orb. So I sack off my Electros, and then I just lose it, 1-for-1 trade. It's not that big of a deal, but instead, he brings in his Gramble like anticipated. Gonna go for Volt Switch, get a nice chunk of damage off on that Gramble because my team actually struggles to deal with Gramble, so I'm very glad I made that aggressive play because now it's slightly weakened. He does miss Play Rough here. Of all moves he misses, the weak Play Rough instead of, Life Orb Fire Blast 3 times, in a row. Yeah, And now he's going to switch out his Gramble here because he doesn't want to take a Toxic or Giga Drain. He's going to bring in his Hit Popper because he probably predicted Stealth Rocks as well, which is a good play. And I'm able to get up my Rocks, so Pyro dies from Stealth Rock. And since I know 100% Hitmonchan's probably going to go for Rapid Spin because I'm not going to stay in here against Hitmonchan. No, who in the right mind would do that? He's going to go for Rapid Spin, very obvious play. He's going to spin away the Stealth Rocks, but I'm going to go for Toxic because I anticipated him to go for Rapid Spin and anticipating me to switch out because I have no reason to stay in against Hitmonchan because, Pyro's a pretty big threat. Though it should die from Stealth Rocks, but since Pyro could have gotten one more hit off if he got the Rapid Spin off, I knew he was going to Rapid Spin. Like, it was like 90% sure he was going to Rapid Spin, and like the other 10% was like Ice Punch, so like, yeah, Rapid Spin. Now he's going to pull a Hard Switch into his Meowstic, and I'm going to decide to pull a switch myself and bring in my Silvally just because I wanted to switch into Drain Punch, and Silvally Fairy form can switch into Drain Punch pretty easily. So after seeing one of my opponents use Defog Silvally against me, I decided to get Type Null in game and train up my own Silvally because I can always change his typing, which is pretty cool, and so I could just have a defogger of any typing, which is pretty amazing in the lower tiers. So I'm gonna go for multi-attack as he's gonna go for the Reflect, which kind of blows, and I was gonna go for Psyshock, do a decent amount of damage to me, but since it's Meowstic with no offensive investment, it doesn't do anything. I'm actually gonna go for Defog here because I want to defog away his screens because for some reason you can defog away screens. I don't know why you can do that, but you can, so hey. And he's gonna go for Thunder Wave here, hit me up with some Yellow Magic. I see how you go, Mckinley. I see how you run. Trying to get that Yellow Magic against Silvally. I can respect that. But yeah, we get paralyzed on the first turn. Not too surprising. I was going to go for my own Thunder Wave, but whatever. What can you do? I know he's going to hit me up with the Reflect. And since he's not competitive Meowstic, from team preview I thought he was female, but then I realized he was male when he brought it out. Gonna go for Parting Shot. I didn't want to accidentally give him competitive, so just wanted to make sure he wasn't female Meowstic because that could have been pretty bad for me if I gave him competitive boost, but thankfully he's not female. Gonna bring in my Thick B, my Alolan Raticate. Very original, and I put a lot of thought into this nickname, by the way. He's gonna go for Prankster Thunderwave, forgetting that, Dark types are immune to Prankster. That's why I brought this thing out so comfortably. Unfortunately, my opponent does have Reflect up, so he should be able to tank the attack, but he can't touch me. He has Psyshock, Dual Screens, and T-Wave, so unless he wants to give me free Sword Stances, that's cool. Speaking of cool, he's gonna bring in his Rotom Fan, as I decided to go for a knockoff because Alone Eradicate gets knockoff and Ultra Sun and Moon move tutors, which is pretty cool. It helps it out with, you know, some damage output. And now I did not want to risk me missing Double Edge because Mckinley's a lucky player and you hit 3 Fire Blasts in a row, and since I'm using Hustle, I know I have lower accuracy than Fire Blast, so there's no way I'm hitting an attack after connecting, or after, you know, he connected 3 Fire Blasts in a row. I'm like, the luck is not going to work for me. So instead, I just use my Z move because I do not want to get burned by this Rotom. Gonna go for the Z move and just knock out the Rotom fan. So now it goes as monster. He's unable to, you know, do anything, thankfully. No Thunder Wave Air Slash shenanigans, though I highly doubt he was that side. He was probably like Will-O-Wisp defensive or like Scarf. Now he's going to bring in his Just Weavile, or Just Wondering, or like, I don't know what that stands for. I'm going to switch out expecting Play Rough, because, you know, that's just the obvious play. Going to bring in my I'm a Cutie Pie, as he's going to pull a double switch, predicting me to switch, and bring in the King, the Pivor. That was pretty risky, but I guess that makes a lot of sense, because I had no reason to stay in against the Gramble, so that was a pretty good play. I could have went for Double Edge and try to get the kill, but it was unlikely that I would have killed him since I already used my Z move anyway. So now he's going to switch out of his Pivor again because he wants to preserve it for some reason. You would think that he would just go for the Fire Blast to get damage off, but he did predict the recover properly, so he does switch out, expecting that. I was tempted to go for Giga Drain just in case, you know, he went for Taunt, but there was no way he's going to go for double Taunt when he's at, like, red health. So now he brings in his Doggy here, expecting me to double switch, and I was very close in clicking double to Giga Drain, expecting him to predict me to switch out, but I don't really feel like playing that aggressively right now, so I decided to bring in Savali instead, as now he's going to go for Swords Dance. Very aggressive play in his part. He's definitely underestimating Savali Fairy Form a lot, and unfortunately for my opponent, I do have the Yellow Magic as well. I'm also a skillful player, so we're able to slow down this Lycanroc midday, or yeah, that's midday, right? I always get the forms mixed up, I don't know why. And now his Reflect is going to wear off, so now we can start weakening this thing. But unfortunately for my opponent, he actually has the Lycanroc Z move, so unfortunately I'm going to have to do some editing on the Z move, because if I don't, Nintendo's going to copyright smite my ass. So unfortunate, but what can you do? Now he's gonna go for the I forgot what the Z move name is called. It's Splintered Storm Shards. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot that, but yeah, he's gonna go for the Splintered Storm Shards on me, and he's gonna leap in the sky, and Lycanroc looks pretty badass with that animation. Point all the rocks at me, and of course Savali just claps his hands together, and then Savali's gonna get clapped by the Stealth Cocks, and goodbye Savali. You got wrecked, but hey, we got to see the Z move. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep it in the video. I probably will have to do some editing, or else Nintendo will smite my ass, but it's okay. Gonna bring in Void Clown here, my Girder. And now he's going to withdraw his Lycanroc because he doesn't want to stay in here and get Drain Punched, and plus I won't die from +2 Stone Edge because I am Girder with E-Violet. So he's going to bring in his Just Weavile, his Gramble, as I pull a double switch, very aggressive play, predicting the Gramble, and I bring in my Eradicate because I know with Double Edge Stab, I should be able to knock him out, or I should be very close. Maybe I should have went for Double Edge against this thing initially, but unfortunately Double Edge is unable to knock out Gramble. He's able to knock me out with a Play Rough, but that leaves him at red health, and as long as I don't give him the opportunity to go for Z Heal Bell, I should be in the clear here. So down goes my Alone Eradicate. Unfortunately, we're unable to knock out the Gramble. I probably should have just attacked him, and I had Alone Eradicate in on the field, but not a big deal. Now he's going to sack off his Gramble, which, you know, gave me a sigh of relief, because Z Heal Bell Gramble just refuses to die, honestly, and I'm pretty sure that's the side he's running because he just seemed to be defensive. So now I'm going to bring it. I'm a Cutie Pie here, the Credillia, the Godly Credillia, as my opponent's going to bring in the Hip Hopper after I Volt Switch out. And basically, I'm going to pull a switch here, expecting my opponent to go for Drain Punch. Going to bring in Can't Defeat Us here, my Musharna, because I feel like it's trying to start doing what Musharna does best. Thankfully, we're able to face tank Drain Punch because we are Musharna. Musharna is a very bulky Pokemon. Without even defense investment, I have no defense investment, we just snack that Drain Punch. And I know I could take Ice Punches for days, and I have Barrier, so he can go for as many Ice Punches as he pleases. I know I could just tank that. I go for Calm Mind first in case my opponent wanted to switch out, because I figured he wouldn't want to stay in here against Musharna, but he decides to stay in, so I was like, oh, okay, whatever, that's fine. I go for Calm Mind just in case anything special like Pivor doesn't like ruin my day. Pivor is still alive, right? Yeah, it's still alive. So he's going to go for Ice Punch here. It's not going to do any damage. Going to go for Moonlight because in case I get frozen, I want to keep my health bar healthy and stuff. And you'd think he tried Switch Out by now because, you know, Hitmonchan doesn't really have the greatest matchup against Musharna, but, you know, Mckinley's trying to get that luck to come through against me, so I can respect that. Go for Ice Punch, trying to freeze me. He does freeze me, though, you know, Mckinley. It didn't take him long, unfortunately, and I didn't even get the barrier up, so I was like, oh, interesting, nice luck, I can respect that, but the poison's starting to whittle him down, so, like, he can do this all day. But he's going to decide to switch out and bring in his Doggy, his Lycanroc, and I'm like, oh no, you are not going to try to win off of a freeze, So I was very close on staying here, just trying to muscle through the freeze, but I'm like, you know, if I do that, I'm gonna auto lose, so like, let's not throw the game by doing that. Instead, let's bring in Girder on his attempt to, you know, trying to set up, but he goes for the para hacks, which is pretty respectable. I kind of deserve that after getting frozen. Now, oh, if I was real, I would have brought in my Musharna and the Fire Fang there. That would have been spicy. I'm gonna go for knockoff here because I predicted him to switch out, but he stayed in, so I'm like, okay, whatever. And now he goes for break here because he predicts me to do something else. I don't know, but I'm gonna go for bulk up here because I want to get my attack and defense up because I'm just like, wanting to know what you froze my Musharna, so I'm just gonna have to win with the Void Clown because I wanted to win with Musharna, but I can potentially win with Girder. I just gotta play correctly. He was gonna go for Sword Stance here, thinking he can muscle through a Girder, but that's just not happening anytime soon. So I'm gonna go for Drain Punch here and easily knock out the doggy. So unfortunately, Lycanroc doggy is going to go down. I swear, every time I play in the PU tier, I face like Lycanroc. Like people have a fetish for Lycanroc. Like I don't know what it is, but everyone loves using it. I mean, I can see why. It's like Zima was pretty fun to use, and like they all got some new tools to use, like with Ultra Sun and Moon. So I can definitely see why. And there's like the new form, but like I don't know. Psyshock bounces off. It does like 10% because I'm at +1, but he violates, so that's disgusting. Then goes Meowstic to knock off. He thought that he could damage me. Eviolite Girder just tanks hits for days. And comes Pyroar, and this thing would be a threat, you know, if I didn't have Mach Punch. So unfortunately for my opponent, I do have the Mach Punch. So this, I almost said Heatmore. The Pyroar is going to go down. Down goes the Lion King. And my opponent's last is the Hip Hopper, the Hitmonchan. And unfortunately for Hitmonchan, he's at the range of health where Mach Punch should be able to knock out Hitmonchan. And due to some, you know, outplaying and, you know, some hacks, the game was still pretty close nonetheless. I had to try to win with Girder or else I could have lost to the Lycanroc potentially. So as long as I kept Girder alive and dealt with Gramble, that was my win con. And Rotom Phantom, we were able to do that, so we were able to win. I was trying to win with Musharna because once I got rid of the Dark types, which there was none, I should have been able to win with Musharna since I was weakness policy Musharna, but alas, we did get frozen in time, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. Shit happens. Hope you guys enjoy this Wi-Fi battle against Mckinley362. He also posts Pokemon content, so if you are interested in that, I'll leave his link in the description below. I recommend check out his channel. He posts some good stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the Wi-Fi battle. If you guys did enjoy the Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle and really want to support my channel, let me know by hitting the thumbs up button, as it helps out my channel a lot more than you think, and it's just much appreciated. And yeah, the question of the day is going to be, which Lycanroc form is your favorite to use in general, disregarding their competitive viability? Let me know in the comments down below which Lycanroc form is your personal favorite and why. It could be based off design, their move pool, etc. My favorite Lycanroc form is Lycanroc Midnight form because it resembles Relistify the most, and he thinks it was based off of his channel, which is pretty adorable. And also, it's the only Lycanroc form I really used in competitive battles. I've used Focus Sash Counter Set, I've used Choice Band, and also it gets access to Iron Tail now and other moves through Move Tutor, so it has some nice viability added onto it, and I just think it's a pretty cool Pokemon to use in general. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below which Lycanroc form is your favorite to use in general. But of course, thank you guys so much for watching till the end of the video. I'll check you guys next time. Bye!